Apple never announced it. But somehow, Pluribus became the most watched show on Apple TV Plus, and most people didn't even realize when it happened. Before we dive in, we do weekly breakdowns for every episode. Subscribe if you like this content. And that's the first thing you need to understand about Pluribus. This wasn't a viral hit, it was a slow psychological takeover. So the real question isn't how popular the show is. The real question is, why do people keep watching even when the show makes them uncomfortable? This show wasn't designed to go viral. When most streaming platforms want a hit, they aim for immediacy. Big hooks, big moments, big twists you can clip and share. Pluribus does the opposite. The marketing was quiet, the trailers were vague, the premise was deliberately unclear. And yet, something strange happened. On Reddit, episode discussion threads didn't peak during release hour. They peaked the next day. That tells you everything. People weren't rushing online to celebrate what they saw. They were coming back because they couldn't stop thinking about it. That delay, that mental echo, is not an accident. It's design. If you followed Vince Gilligan long enough, you know his real talent isn't plot twists. It's pressure. Walter White didn't become terrifying overnight. Jimmy McGill didn't collapse all at once. Gilligan builds systems, not stories. He introduces rules, repeats them, conditions you to trust them. And then, slowly, he shows you a crack. Pluribus does this immediately. The hive has rules. They cannot lie. They need consent. They speak as we. These rules aren't exposition, they're conditioning. By the time something feels off, your brain already knows it shouldn't be. That's when the hook sets in. Here's something reviewers kept circling around, even if they didn't phrase it this way. Pluribus doesn't give emotional release. Most shows resolve tension at the end of an episode. This one withholds it. Scenes linger too long. Smiles last too long. Silence isn't filled. Your brain wants closure. Instead, it gets unease, and that unease doesn't go away when the credits roll. It follows you. That's why viewers don't leave. Not because they're entertained, because their nervous system hasn't settled yet. Carol is the protagonist streaming platforms rarely trust. Carol isn't likable. She's not charming. She's not inspirational. She's not written to win you over. She's resistant. She refuses to align emotionally with the world around her. She refuses the language of improvement and happiness. She refuses to be fixed. In Reddit discussions, this confused people at first. Why center a story on someone so difficult? But slowly, the framing changed. Carol wasn't there to be admired. She was there to be recognized. In a culture saturated with wellness language, forced positivity, and optimization, Carol becomes something unsettlingly familiar. Someone who won't perform contentment. That makes her impossible to ignore. The hive doesn't threaten humanity. It doesn't conquer. It doesn't punish. It helps. It smiles. It reassures. It speaks in calm, therapeutic language. Reddit users made the comparison almost immediately. The hive feels like corporate culture, algorithmic personalization, social pressure disguised as care. It doesn't erase you by force. It erases you by consensus. That makes it infinitely more disturbing and infinitely more discussable. People don't argue about explosions, they argue about ideas. And Pluribus is built entirely out of arguments. Why Apple TV Plus benefited more than anyone else. Here's the part most coverage misses. Apple TV Plus doesn't rely on ad-driven virality. It relies on completion rate, subscriber retention, long-tail engagement. Pluribus is engineered perfectly for that ecosystem. People don't cancel mid-season because they need answers. They don't skip episodes because details matter. They rewatch scenes because language matters. Every Reddit breakdown becomes unpaid marketing. Every blog essay extends the show's lifespan. Apple didn't need Pluribus to trend. They needed it to linger. And it did. Another reason viewership kept growing instead of dropping. Pluribus teaches you how to watch it. Early episodes reward attention to language. Later episodes punish casual viewing. Once you realize pronouns matter, once you realize silence matters, once you realize what isn't said matters more than what is, you're locked in. At that point, stopping feels like quitting mid-sentence. Why the audience didn't just grow, it compounded. Most shows peak early. Pluribus didn't. Each episode added new rules, new contradictions, new patterns, which meant more Reddit theories, longer blog essays, deeper rewatch culture. The audience didn't just increase, it densified. People didn't just watch, they studied. And studying is the most reliable form of retention there is.